aceeași notă, pentru că avem nevoie de motivație și pentru asta am apelat la coachul numărul 1 în lume, în inovare strategică și unul dintre cei mai buni executive coach din lume. Este primul asiatic care s-a clasat printre primii 6 guru din lume. Are o experiență fabuloasă în cei peste 30 de ani de dezvoltare. El a participat și la dezvoltarea liderilor din peste 80 de țări. Doamnelor, domnilor,
Chee,
Peter Chee este alături de noi.
din Malaysia.
Yes, Leadership Executive Coach and President and CEO at ITD World. He joined us from Malaysia.
Good afternoon to you. Hi,
Good
Peter.
afternoon. Hello. Can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you loud and clear. It's perfect. Thank you for being with us. Because we had some amazing presentations so far. I'm sure yours will be too. I searched online for a Malaysian quote, which I think is very important for what we have discussed in terms of personal development so far. And just tell me if you approve. It says like this: one can pay back the loan of gold, but one lies forever in debt to those who are kind, because we talked a lot about kindness and giving back in terms of entrepreneurial or personal development today at our conference. Do you agree with me?
Yes, most definitely. Thank you so much for this wonderful quote.
The floor is yours, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Romania. Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be here with all of you to share Disruptive Coaching 4.0 for game-changing results. Firstly, I want to say a very, very big thank you to the organizer, Great People Insights, for organizing this amazing conference. For the next 30 minutes is the time that I have. I'm going to set the timer so that I keep on time, and it's going to be short, sharp, and focused and exciting. I'm going to share with you a coaching model which you can apply. You will have an assessment and a coaching tool which you can use right away after this. And I will share with you cases and examples of what I have applied in coaching, Disruptive Coaching 4.0. So this will be practical takeaways for you. And at the end of the session, you will also have the handouts. In other words, all those tools and models and examples that I share, you will be able to download the handouts as well. Now, I trust that all of you have had a wonderful time so far at the conference and you're enjoying yourself. Yes, are you? Including the dinner and dance yesterday. Those of you who joined the dinner and dance, can you raise your hand and say dance? Wow, wonderful. Can you show me how you danced last night? No, I'm just kidding. I'm so excited. And you know what? You are such wonderful people. I can feel the connection and the closeness with you. I actually plan to be in Romania next year's conference. So I look forward to being with all of you at next year's conference in person, and perhaps we can dance together. So I'm really excited right now to begin. So let me begin the session. Now, this is a model, okay? Disruptive coaching for game-changing results in a VUCA world. We are living in a VUCA world which is very dynamic and fast-changing. And this model is 5 Fs. All right. Now, I'm going to do a fun, interesting challenge with all of you here today. I'm going to ask you to guess what are the 5 Fs. Now, I'm not going to give it to you yet. The first person who can guess what the 5 Fs are will win a very special prize. So let's make it fun and enjoyable today as we learn. All right. Look at the 5 different pictures of the tiger. You can see, right? And you can guess what are the 5 Fs. So it's F, 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 and F. It's not a bad word, right? There's no bad word. They're all good words, but there are 5 Fs to this model. Okay, so I have going to give out a very special prize. We're going to make it fun, right? There's going to be a game. It's a fun challenge, and we will play a fair game, right? Whoever is the first one who can guess 5 Fs, what they stand for, you will win 10x executive coaching session worth $10,000 US. I will coach you, right? And you will win this prize. Now, I have created a post. This is a LinkedIn post. Okay. What you have to do is put in a comment. All right. And if you are the first person, I have someone watching the post. If you're the first person to guess what is the 5 Fs, you can win the prize. this prize of executive coaching session with me. All right, so here's the post. All you have to do is use your phone, scan this QR code. Now I have put this post for you so that even after my 30 minutes, you can still ask me questions, you can share your key learnings, right? But also for this gamification, I ask you to make a guess what the 5F stand for. As I go on, you can comment once you get the answer. If you're the first one, at the end of 30 minutes today, I will give out the prize. All right. Are you all excited to start now? Are you excited to learn? Yes. Say I if you're excited to learn. Raise your hand and say I. Wonderful. Thank you. Now, this first one, watch very carefully and see if you can guess what the first F is. Watch carefully. Anyone gets it? You can say it out loud if you get it. You get it? Okay, the first F is called focus, the power of focus. So how do you apply this model in coaching? First, you do an assessment. So here, these are three very important areas for the first F. So you can look at the handouts, you can do your own assessment. Now, first of all, you do a rating 1 to 10, how important each of these three areas are. And then you do a rating of your competence, how good you are. From there, you can find out your gaps, right? And then I'll give you a coaching tool, how you can coach or be coached to be able to really master the first F, which is called focus. Now, there are three very important areas here, three key elements. Number one is clarity. If you don't have clarity, you cannot focus because you don't know what to focus on, right? So clarity is number one, clarity of some of the most important things. For example, clarity about what's important to you, your values. What are your key talents? What value do you add, which is most important to others? Clarity of your values, your visions, your goals, and what are your strategies to achieve your goals? What are the tactics and habits that will drive you to achieving your vision and your goals? So if you meet someone at the elevator, within a few minutes of a short conversation, are you able to very clearly explain clearly what is your greatest value, your talent, the value you add to others, what's your vision, your goals, and how are you going to get there? Now, if you can do that within a short time, then you have absolute clarity. You can articulate it very clearly and well. So that's the first C, clarity. Now, the second one is P, prioritize your efforts and your resources on 20% of the most important solutions that delivers 80% of the results. This is a principle. Does anyone know what this principle is? It's also called Pareto's principle, 80-20, right? Or 20-80. 20% of the most important things will deliver on 80% of the results and outcomes. So are you focusing on the 20% of the most important things that will deliver 80% of the results that you expect? So that is the second one that's very important. The third one is to simplify. In other words, for you to be able to focus, if you have too many things going on at the same time, too many balls juggling in the air, you are going to drop the balls on the floor because there's too many, right? So what you need to do is you need to simplify and eliminate and reduce emphasis, right? And focus on what is more important and reduce emphasis on what is less important. Now, let me give you an example here, okay? So I've said I give you an assessment, I give you an example. So here is an example of Sunny Kim, right? Who is running a business in Korea. Look at his assessment scores. See, this is a real actual coachee who did the assessment. Can you see where the issues are? If you look at Sunny Kim, can you see his issues, where his gaps are, and what is important to him? I'm sure when you look at this very clearly, you can see, right? He may be clear about things, but he definitely is not prioritizing well. He's trying to do all things. He's not focusing on the top 20%, right? And his life is kind of complicated, right? During the pandemic itself, he takes on too many projects and he tries to please too many people and he gets his hands involved in too many areas. So he lost his focus. You can see that, the gaps, right? There are a gap of 5 and 5. So how do we help him in coaching? After doing the assessment, we have coaching tools and methods how to help and support Sunny Kim to transform. Now, you can very well use and apply this for yourself. And as a coach as well, you can do it. All right. Now, this one is a particular principle coming out of the book that I wrote with Brian Tracy. It's called 12 Disciplines of Leadership Excellence. In this book, we have talked about 12 C's of great leaders. And one of the C's there is called concentration. In other words, leaders apply the power of focus and use their time wisely. So one quick tip I can share with all of you, and you can start doing it even right away, is throughout the day, as you go through your day, ask yourself only one question. what is the best use of my time right now? In fact, if you ask yourself the question now, what is the best use of your time right now? Would it be scrolling through your phone, looking at your messages, or would it be fully concentrate to learn something that is game-changing? What would be the best use of your time right now? So if you ask that question, you have that answer to it, then you focus, right? You refocus yourself on what is the most valuable use of your time. Now, there is a tool that is life-changing. This tool changed my life, and this tool changed the life of many, many leaders and executives that I coach. It's called the A to E focus tool. It's simple, and yet it's so powerful. Now, each day, you plan for your next day, or each week, you plan for the next week, and you list down all of your tasks and things you need to do. And you put a code to each and every task, code either A, B, C, D, or E, and each one has a particular significance. So this is the tool. The A will be a must-do. This is your top priority 20%, where you add the most value, where it makes the biggest significant difference to you and others. And that is the A. And then the B is something that you should do because it's part of what is expected of you, your roles, your duties, and things like that. C is a nice to do, D is to delegate, and E is to eliminate. So the key here to do is this: every day you do this, and when you go to bed, you visualize the whole day, the next day going well, everything according to what you plan, and starting to focus on your A's. And then when you have time, when you finish your A's, you can move to your B. And what you would like to do is you would like to have the B and the C to move as far as possible to become a D and an E. So in other words, the things that are less significant, they are less important or profound, you want to delegate to others, or you may even want to try not doing it, eliminate, and see what happens. Most of the time, nothing really significant happens because those are not important things that you are just used to doing out of habit. You just have to cut it out. You have to eliminate. So by using this disciplined approach of prioritizing and planning, you will eventually become a top performer in whatever field you're in, whether you're in sales, you're in marketing, you're in human resource, you are in general management. You will eventually become among the most productive people who achieve the most by using this very simple approach. Now, look at this. One of my favorite authors and gurus on time management or time optimization is Brian Tracy. Some of you may know of his book called Eat That Frog. Now, when he talks about eat that frog, what he means is that every day when you wake up, you eat the biggest frog, which is your A, your must-do. If you have many A's, you will number them A1, A2, A3. Which is the one which frog to eat first is going to be the A1 top priority. Now, the other very important principle from Brian Tracy that changed my life is this. Look at what he said. If you start and stop a task several times, you can increase the amount of time to complete it by as much as 500%. So you know what I mean when these days people talk about, multitasking, trying to do many things at the same time and having lots of inputs coming in everywhere and distractions. If you start and stop and you have all these things coming in between your important tasks, you can take more than 500% time to complete it. So one sure way for you, if you really want to increase your productivity 500%, one sure way is for you to make sure you block time for important tasks and fully focus and cut out all distractions and not multitask. Fully focus on what's most important, and you can actually get it done much, much faster. So this is one very good practice. And finally, one last thing about this area is this, that this absolutely struck me, and I remember this all my life. Brian Tracy put it this way. It's so nice, right? It relates to Pareto's principle. You will never have enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important things. So how many of you are constantly crazy busy every day? Raise your hand. Constantly busy every day? Yeah, I can tell you this, you will never have enough time. For sure. You will never have enough time to do all these things. But if you focus on the A, you focus on the most important things, the 20%, right, that Pareto talks about, you will have enough time to do those things that matters most. So to have that discipline to do that is a discipline of focus that will change a person's life. All right, so this is a coaching tool. I give you 3 great questions. You can ask these questions to coach yourself, or you can use this tool to coach someone else in your team or your department or even your family member. You can apply this. First question, what's your most important game-changing breakthrough goal? Now, as your coachee talks about it, now you say, let's make it smarter. Specifically, what is your goal? How would you measure it? How would you ensure it's achievable? In what way is it relevant? What is the timeline for you to achieve this goal? How engaged are you to achieve this goal? And if you achieve this goal, how satisfied will you be? How happy will you be? And finally, who would be the team members that will support you, right? You don't pursue a game-changing goal by yourself. Who are the team members who are part of this dream team to support you? So that's the first one. And the second one will be back to Pareto, right? Which are the 20% of your solutions or specific tasks which will deliver 80% of your results to achieve your goal. So if you have 10 strategies, which are your top 2 strategies that will deliver on 80% of the results to achieve your goal? And finally, the third question would be, what would you simplify, eliminate, and reduce so that you can focus on what's more important? Yes. Remember what Steve Jobs said? Steve Jobs said, say no to 1,000 things to say yes to great. So are you able to say no to 1,000 things so that you can say no to great, something that is truly great? That is the question number 3. All right, so these are really great coaching questions that have delivered great outcomes and results. So at the end of it, if you look at Sunny Kim, after a couple of months of coaching, he looked at the results. This is the results after. So we do an assessment before, and then we share the tools, we coach, and then we do the assessment after. 3 months after, you can see the change, right? You can see the transformation. In fact, Sunny Kim has continued to transform. He has doubled his productivity several times. In actual fact, right now, he has more than 5 times increase in his productivity because he is now far more effective in focusing on what matters most. And he has enough time. In fact, he even has time to enjoy his life, to be with his family. Can you see that? Yeah. So the transformation has taken place through powerful coaching tools, assessment, and question. All right. So you see, my friends, this is all very practical. I'm not sharing theories or just concepts. I'm sharing things that really work in real life. All right. Are you ready for the second F? Please raise your hand and tell me you are ready. Say it out loud. If you're ready, raise your hand and say, I'm ready. Okay, good. Now you can guess, right? Can you guess what's the second F? Let me show you. And look here. Okay, watch this. All right, what is that? What is the second F? Say it out loud. Come on, if you get the answer. Say it out loud. You got it? I don't hear the sound in the room though. All right, fast. Right? Now you get it, right? It's fast. Now, so you see the first one is focus. Now, once you know what you're focusing on, what's most important and what not to focus on, remember what not to focus on can be as important as what to focus on, right? What not to focus is what you should eliminate. Then once you know what to focus on, then you want to go fast on those things. No, you don't need to go fast on everything, but you need to go fast on the most important things that matters most. So that is fast. So there are 3 very important areas here. Let's take a look at it. All right. Now, the first one is to let go of perfection. One of the biggest roadblocks to most people where they have been trained and they have been brought up in a way to want to get things in an excellent, perfect condition, right? And then that becomes slow in terms of taking action, slow in terms of making decisions because of the obsession with perfection. So one of the key things is to let go of that and pursue speed to excellence and results. Speed really counts. Speed makes a difference. The second very important area to look at is the value that you add to people around you, the value you add to clients, whether you are serving internal clients or external clients. If you're HR, you might be serving internal clients. So how do you deliver value to clients rapidly? By asking great questions, discovering, experimenting, and innovating. And the third one is absolutely critical. Very few people actually master this, but it's absolutely critical, right? Inflections being created, predicted, and leveraged to get to hyper growth. Now, what is inflection? Can anyone say? What is inflection? Do you know what inflection is? If you look at the S curve, if you look at a point of inflection, it's a point where it starts to go rapidly changing, right? It's rapidly going upwards or rapidly going downwards. That is an inflection. Malcolm Gladwell calls this a tipping point. Just imagine if your building has just caught fire and it's a small fire, firemen can quickly extinguish the fire, distinguish the fire. But once the fire gets so big, it spreads like wildfire. You can't stop it anymore because it's going too fast. That is when it has already reached its inflection, right? So the question here is this: if you want to go fast, you need to be able to create, predict, or leverage on inflection. So how do you do that, right? I've got coaching tools and examples to share with you. So this is my own example. I'm sharing with you my own example. My name is Peter. This was once upon a time. If you look at me once upon a time, I was not perfect, right? I was never perfect, right? I had many areas to improve on, many gaps. And if you look at the assessment, can you see my gaps? I believe you can, right? See? I was trying to be perfect in all things that I did. And so therefore I was slow. I paid the price for being slow. I learned very, very heavy lessons for being slow due to being obsessed with being a perfectionist, right? So I had to change that. I had to overcome that, right? I wasn't focusing on rapidly adding value to my clients. I wasn't focusing enough in that area. And I did not pay enough attention to inflections or identifying or creating, growth by understanding inflection points. So I had all these areas, the gaps. Okay. So one fine day, one of my team members, Brandon, he brought up to me this quote from Klaus Schwab, the founder, executive chairman of World Economic Forum. Look at what he said. These words strike me until today. Every day I remember his words. He said, in the new world, it is not the big fish which eats the small fish. It is the fast fish that eats the slow fish. Wow, that really struck me, and I realized, wow, I can't be a perfectionist. I have to look at speeding up in terms of adding value to clients. I have to look at inflection where things go a lot faster than what I'm actually experiencing. And so this one really got me to realize that I did not want to be eaten alive. And I even have a picture for this. Can you all see this? See this picture? Can you see it? Yeah, right. Not big fish eating small fish. It's a fast fish eating the slow fish. So if you're a slow fish, you'll be eaten alive, right? So now here's a coaching tool. There are 3 great questions my coaches use on me, and today I use on many people that I coach, all right? So now, number 1, what can you do to let go of perfection, overcome resistance for change to achieve excellence and results speedily, right? Once you figure that out, you know what your roadblock is, how you will overcome that. Right? So the answer to this question will help you to discover, right, how you will solve this. Number 2, how can you accelerate delivery of value to clients by more rapidly asking great questions, experimenting and innovating? Yeah. So I have a tool for that, and I'll share that with you in a short while. Okay. And the third one is, how do you create, predict, and leverage on inflections? Now, Peter Drucker once said, the way to predict the future is by creating it. So if you can create innovative products and solutions that will solve the world's problems and the world will love it, then you can very quickly get to an inflection point or hyper growth. Or if you can predict it, then you can better, adapt yourself to it and better create a situation where you can actually make full advantage of the inflection. Or if inflection already happened, like for example, pandemic already happened, then if you can quickly look at how you can leverage it, many organizations have actually achieved quantum leap growth during the pandemic because they knew how to leverage on inflection, right? Yes. And one good example is Zoom, for example. Zoom has had phenomenal growth. In a while, I'll tell you a quick story about Zoom, right? 500 million users now. And even today, we are using Zoom, right? I'm using Zoom to talk to you, right? It has been able to leverage on inflection. Now, this is a tool. Look at this tool. There are 3 questions only in this tool, right? It's called Speed, Value Creation, and Delivery Tool, SVCD tool, right? One question is, what's the most important value that you add and to whom? Now, if you have the answer to this question, then great. Go to the second question. How can you accelerate and multiply the value you add? That is that answer itself, it's a golden answer. If you get it, wow, it's amazing, right? When you get the answer to this amazing question, and then when you will deliver. So let me give you an example. I use this on myself, and here is just one example. So for me, right, the most important value I add to my clients, because as an executive coach, the key thing for me is to ensure habit change and impact on results for executives. That is where I add the most value, because when the executive change their behaviors and habits, they transform, they become different leaders way better. How can I accelerate value and multiply? Well, there are 3 things that I discovered. Number 1 is create a tool to help them ask a question every day. If a leader says, I'm going to be a better listener, they will ask the question, today, have I done my best to be a better listener, and give a score of 1 to 10? That's the first solution. The second one is every week as a coach, I will follow up with my coachee and see how they are doing in terms of their improvement in their behaviors. And I will have a motivational conversation to motivate my coachee to keep improving. And number 3, I have my coachee to have worked with an accountability partner, someone who will follow up every day to make sure that my coachee actually does update their scoring of the improvement habit every day. So basically, this is as simple as the tool is. It is absolutely powerful, right? Once you figure out the answers, you can actually accelerate your delivery of value to your clients, and then you add much more value, and that will impact your future and your success. So this is what happened to me, my dear friends, everyone, Romania, you see this? This is what happened to me, right? After using these tools, I'm still not perfect, but it has improved a lot, right? I am much less of a perfectionist. I focus a lot more on accelerating value to clients. And obviously, I can now in a much better position to create and leverage on inflections. I'm still working on predicting. I'm still not very good at predicting, because predicting, you have to be very good in analytics and data, big data, and a lot of things you need to look into to predict when is the next, for example, when is the next pandemic going to come? When is the next big global crisis going to come? Who has that answer, right? So that's not easy. But if you can create products and solutions that will reach inflection, that is what you can do. If you see something already happen, you can quickly take action and you can leverage on inflection. So that's what I have learned how to do. And obviously it has a huge impact on my success, right? So that is a big difference. Okay, are you ready for the third F? Okay, let's go now. Go, go, go. If you haven't commented yet, if you have answers to all the 5 Fs, you can comment on that LinkedIn group. All right, you can comment and you can tell me the answer. All right, look at this one. Everyone, are you ready? Okay. All right, tigers all the way, right? Do you like tigers now? Do you love tiger? Yeah. So this third F is flexible. All right. Okay, there you go, flexible. Okay. So if you are focused on what's most important, right? And if you are really fast on it, right? But then you have to stay flexible because things change and things may not turn out as the way you expect. So if you don't adapt yourself and continuously adapt to the situation in an agile manner, you might become irrelevant soon enough. So that flexibility is just so important, even more important in the VUCA world. Do you agree? Do you agree? Yes, flexibility is even more important in the VUCA world. So now, again, if you have not scanned, go ahead, use your phone to scan this QR code. You can guess what are the 5 Fs. I've already given you 3, right? 3. You need to figure out what the 5 Fs are. The first one already you know, right? Is focus. Second one is fast. Third one is flexible. Scan this QR code and you can comment. But not only that, after this session, you can still ask me questions. You can share your key learnings. I will still interact with you and add more value to you. And that's the reason why I created this post on LinkedIn. It is for all of you. Okay, so use your phone, scan it, so that you can get on LinkedIn on your app, on your mobile phone, and you can comment, you can ask questions, you can guess what is the 5 Fs. If you are the first person to guess, you win an executive coaching session with me worth $10,000 US. All right, so now these are the best practices for flexible. There are again 3 of them, very important. I only picked the 3 most important ones for you because too many people cannot focus and people cannot remember and cannot do, right? So I give you 3, right? First one, adapt consciously and prepare contingencies and scenario plans for a dynamic environment, right? Yes. A lot of times when executives I coach, they only think things will happen the way they expect or they want, but they didn't think another way in terms of contingencies and scenarios. So when I coach them, they realize that they actually need to, even more so in the VUCA world. So they be prepared for all kinds of possible situations. The second one is agility. Agility to observe what's going on around you in your workplace, in the market, in an employment situation. Agility to learn quickly and to continuously pivot, continuously improve yourself in both areas of critical survival and vital growth. Now, these 2 are very important. I tell you why, because those people who are not flexible, they tend to focus on either or. If people focus on only critical survival, they miss out the future growth. If people focus on only the future growth, they might fail now and they couldn't survive. So the key here is this, the flexibility to know that you have to balance both, that you have to do things in each day that will focus on not only survival, you have to do things each day that will ensure that you have vital growth into the future. So these 2, you have to be flexibly adapting them. And the third one, we all know that diversity and inclusion is so important, right? Especially for all us HR professionals, so many of you, right? Diversity of different expertise and strengths that can be synergized for innovation and competitive advantage. So are you flexible enough to be able to bring in that kind of diversity to make a difference? So these are the 3 key areas you can assess. And this is Mr. Tung. He's one of the HR directors of an IT company in Vietnam. And you can see, right, he has areas, he has gaps. Right, particularly he has gaps in terms of contingency scenario planning, and he also has gaps in terms of agility for learning, right, in both critical survival and vital growth areas. So now the key thing here is this, yeah, this is one of my favorite quotes, right? Blessed, are you all blessed? Yeah, if you are blessed, you are flexible, for you shall not be bent out of shape. Because you are flexible, you will not be out of shape. So you are blessed. Yes, so flexibility is so important, right? So I give you 3 very powerful questions on agility and scenario planning coaching tool. So these questions I used with Mr. Tung to help him to transform, right? So I can see where it's more important he needs to focus, and he transformed. The first one is, what are the different scenarios you may face, right? And what can you do to prepare contingencies for achieving your game-changing goal, all right? Now, as I ask this question, every one of you think about your own answer, right? You may have the answers already because the questions will trigger, right? Questions provide the key to unlocking your unlimited potential in coaching. All right, question 2. What would you do to stay agile, to observe, learn, and continuously pivot in both survival and vital growth areas? And finally, how would you synergize diverse strengths and expertise for innovation and competitive advantage? So Mr. Tung learned it and he discovered it, right? He did all different things. He synergized on strengths, he observed, he continuously focused on both vital growth and survival areas. In fact, he found a sweet spot of the thing that he would do with the new technology that will help him to survive, but also to grow at the same time. He found the sweet spot through the coaching conversation. And it's so powerful. And he also came up with contingency plans, so he feels a lot better. He sleeps better at night. He knows that he has a backup plan if something doesn't turn out, something goes wrong. He's ready to go with a different approach. All right. Now, look at a case example of Zoom. If you look at the 3 Fs that I talk about here, you will see that very clearly in Zoom, right? You know, the growth has been phenomenal, right? As all of you know that, right? Today, they have more than 500 million users, actively paying users, right? More than 500 million. And you can see the growth of Zoom. If you look at it this way, they are very, very focused. If you look at the case story of Zoom, right? They will not so much focus on all kinds of things, but they will focus on one most important thing. And can you guess what is the one most important thing that Zoom focuses on? Actually, Zoom focuses on customer experience. They focus on giving the best customer experience. They focus on that. So they have clear power of focus. And they were fast. They were fast to address issues, security concerns. They were fast to leverage on pandemic, on growth, on inflection. And they were flexible to adapt themselves, where the system in Zoom can be used for so many different possibilities, from big session meetings to conferences to coaching sessions to meetings, to even CNN. When I had an interview with CNN was using Zoom to interview me. Can you imagine that? So the flexible application was really amazing. So you can see in a great organization, you can see very clearly the 3 Fs that I already explained to you, right? Focus, fast, and flexible. You see that very clearly in this case of success. Now, let's go to the next one. Almost the end already, the second last one. Let's see if you can guess this one, everyone. Look at this. I hope you like this. Okay, you get it? You get it? Fun. That's it. So if you focus on what's most important and you're fast on it and you're flexible to adapt, but if you don't have fun, then what's the point of life, right? If you're not enjoying, you're not fully engaged and excited, enjoying what you do. A lot of people miss this out. You know, it's amazing. You know what? They keep on grinding and grinding and grinding and toiling. They forgot to enjoy the journey. What a pity, right? What a pity. Enjoy, have fun is just so important. So these are 3 key areas. I'll go a little bit fast now so I can finish on time. Okay. So now you can see here very clearly, right? Positively embracing humor and fun, the passion to do more of what you love and love what you do. And the last one is connecting and networking positively to connect, have more connections and enjoy doing it. Okay. So basically, you know, you can apply fish philosophy. This is a great philosophy. I have trained and coached many organizations who have done it and changed their culture. Once people start to laugh and play games, have fun, the morale starts going up and engagement level goes up. People are happier to come to work. They enjoy more and the productivity increases. This is amazing, right? This is the story that was taken from the Pike Place market in Seattle, fish market, right? This fish philosophy is still amazing. And Mahatma Gandhi has an amazing thing to say, right? He said, if I had no sense of humor, I would have long ago committed suicide. Well, he's a great role model, a great example of a person who has gone through a lot of challenges and problems, and yet he's able to laugh in and laugh it out. You know, I'll tell you a quick one, one of my final stories. When he was interviewed by a journalist riding on a third-class train, they asked him, he said, hey, why are you riding on a third-class train? He smiled and he said, I'm riding on a third-class train because there's no fourth class, and everybody just laughed. Right? So he's very good at turning things around and creating humor. That's why he survived. He didn't kill himself. So humor is amazing, right? The benefits are just so many. It's better than medicine. It brings joy, fun. It's scientifically proven to be good for your health. It releases all the happy hormones in your body and so on and so forth. All right. So now the last one and I'll wrap up. Okay. See if you can figure out what the last one is. Everyone, look at this again. The last one. Come on, get it right this time. Yeah, fearless. You can say courageous, but it's an F, so we said fearless. You need to have courage to do what you need to do what you have to do and what's important. All right, so feel the fear and do it anyway. Very often there's the fear, but don't let your fear stop you from doing anything. Take small steps, lean into it, and then you start to find that fear is still there, but you actually can do it because it will not block you from achieving your dreams and your visions and your goals. All right, so these are the key things to overcome fear, is to increase the belief in yourself and your team, in your mission and compelling and unifying mission. Equip yourself with the right techniques so that you can strengthen your heart, mind, body, spirit. When your heart, mind, body, spirit internally is strong, you can face your biggest fears and you can fight and you can conquer it. And finally, you anchor on immense love. That immense love will give you tremendous courage to face your darkest hours and most difficult times that you face, because for the love of your family, your team, and your community. So this will give you the fearlessness. All right. So at the end of it, my dear friends, every day, ask yourself a question and it will help change your life. Okay, this is my final part. Did I do my best to focus? Every day, ask yourself and then give yourself a rating 1 to 10. How much well are you focusing today? Did I do my best to go fast? Give yourself a scale of 1 to 10 rating. Did I do my best to be flexible, to adapt to the situation? Did I know my best to have fun? I love this one, right? And did I do my best to be fearless and courageous? Okay, everyone, let's say together so I can hear the sound of the room. Everyone unmute, and then we will say goodbye. And then I'll see you all next year. I'll be in Romania. I plan to be. So everyone, let's say the 5 Fs together. Everyone, can we say it together? Number 1. Okay, I count 1, 2, 3. Let's all say it together, everyone, and we close off the session. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? There are 5 Fs here, and you say out the words. Okay, focus on the vitals. Okay, everyone, can you unmute so I can hear the sound of the room? Please let me hear the sound of the room. Ready? 1, 2, go. Focus on the vitals. Fast to create inflections. Flexible to pivot to innovation. Fearless in the face of challenges. Fun on the journey to exponential growth. Thank you so much, everyone. Wonderful. Give yourself a big hand. Thank you very much. I see you all in Romania next year. Let's enjoy together and have fun. Bye-bye.